What happened to Kate Middleton during her months-long absence? The world was left in suspense as speculation ran wild. But when the truth was finally revealed, it was more shocking than anyone had expected. The Princess of Wales had been silently battling cancer, undergoing months of treatment away from the public eye. Now, as she steps back into royal life, her journey of resilience has become an inspiration. But how has her illness changed her role within the monarchy? Will she ever return to a full schedule, or is this the beginning of a new era for the future queen? Let's get into it. The anticipation around the royal family has reached new heights following a stunning announcement regarding Kate Middleton. For months, the Princess of Wales has remained out of the public eye, fueling speculation and concern. Now, as she re-emerges after a difficult battle, the palace's latest revelation has left the world both relieved and deeply reflective. It was in early January 2024 that Kensington Palace first announced that Kate had undergone a planned abdominal surgery. At the time, the palace made it clear that the procedure was not related to cancer. Yet they also stated that she would require an extended recovery period. Initially, this statement did little to raise alarm. Royal engagements often take a toll, and health-related breaks are not uncommon. However, as the weeks turned into months, the lack of public appearances from Kate led to growing speculation. By February, concerns began to spread more widely. While Prince William remained by her side, even he started scaling back his royal duties. Then came an unusual moment: William's absence from a key event, the memorial service of his godfather, King Constantine of Greece. When the palace described it as a personal matter, it only deepened the mystery. Questions arose about Kate's condition, yet no further statements were made. The silence from Kensington Palace allowed rumors to spiral. Wild theories flooded social media, some suggesting that her condition was far worse than reported, while others speculated on entirely unrelated matters. The royal family, known for their discretion, refused to comment, leaving the public with no choice but to wait. Then, in March, the long-awaited truth finally came out. On the evening of March 22, 2024, Kate Middleton made a rare direct address to the public. In a pre-recorded video message, she shared the deeply personal news that had remained under wraps for so long. She had been diagnosed with cancer. The revelation was met with an immediate wave of shock and sympathy. Sitting against a simple outdoor backdrop, she spoke with her characteristic grace, yet her voice carried the weight of her journey. She explained that during her abdominal surgery, tests had revealed the presence of cancerous cells. Though the surgery had been successful, her doctors advised that she undergo a course of preventive chemotherapy. The news struck a deeply emotional chord with the public, as Kate had always been seen as a symbol of poise and strength. To see her in such a vulnerable moment made her all the more human. She went on to describe how difficult it had been to process the diagnosis, especially while trying to shield her young children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, from unnecessary worry. She reassured the world that she was focusing on her treatment and recovery, and most importantly, that she remained optimistic. Following her announcement, the response from the public was overwhelming. Messages of support poured in from across the globe. Social media was flooded with heartfelt wishes, while landmarks in the United Kingdom were lit up in tribute to her strength. Even leaders and celebrities joined in, expressing their admiration for how she had chosen to handle the situation. Inside the palace, the months that followed were marked by careful adjustments. With Kate undergoing chemotherapy, William temporarily stepped back from royal engagements to focus on their family. The couple's priority was to ensure stability for their children, keeping their daily lives as normal as possible despite the circumstances. Kate's treatment, though private, was grueling. Chemotherapy is never an easy path, and as the sessions progressed, she faced the same ups and downs that every cancer patient endures. There were good days when she felt well enough to engage in small activities, and then there were days when exhaustion and side effects kept her away from public life entirely. Throughout this time, she found strength in her family and the unwavering support of the people. The outpouring of love and encouragement became a source of motivation, reminding her that she was not alone in this battle. By the end of the summer, whispers of a possible return began to surface. While she was still undergoing treatment, the worst seemed to be behind her. Slowly but surely, she was reclaiming her strength. It wasn't until September, however, that the world received the news it had been waiting for. Kate had completed her chemotherapy. Her road to recovery had not been easy, but she had made it through. The announcement of her remission was met with an equal measure of joy and relief. The princess was now preparing to ease back into her royal responsibilities. But this return was more than just ceremonial. It was a testament to resilience, a reminder of her ability to overcome hardship and emerge stronger. What followed was a carefully planned reintroduction into public life. She made her first public appearance at Trooping the Colour, standing on the Buckingham Palace balcony alongside the royal family. The moment was symbolic, not just of her return, but of the unity and support that had carried her through her battle. The sight of her smiling and standing tall sent a powerful message. Yet despite her progress, there remained lingering questions. Would she fully resume her duties, or would her role be permanently adjusted? How would this experience shape her future within the monarchy? The palace's recent statement provided some insight, but also left room for further speculation. As the royal family prepares for the next phase, one thing is clear: Kate Middleton's journey has changed everything. The world now watches with admiration, eager to see what comes next. The revelation of Kate Middleton's cancer diagnosis had stunned the world. Her March 22nd announcement, delivered in a heartfelt video message, brought both clarity and deep concern. As she spoke, she acknowledged the difficulty of processing the news while ensuring stability for her young children. The public outpouring of support was immediate, and the princess found herself at the center of a global conversation about resilience, health, and the often hidden battles fought behind palace walls. With her treatment underway, a new phase in Kate's journey had begun. March had been the month of revelation. April would become the month of adjustment. The royal family, known for its tight-lipped approach to personal matters, was now navigating an unprecedented situation. Two senior royals, King Charles and Kate, were undergoing cancer treatment at the same time. It was a moment that tested both their personal strength and the stability of the monarchy itself. Prince William's role in the family had never been more crucial. In the weeks following Kate's announcement, he scaled back his official engagements, prioritizing time with his wife and their children. He continued fulfilling essential duties, including meetings with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, but made it clear that his family came first. Publicly, there was an understanding. No one expected William to carry the full weight of royal responsibilities while also caring for Kate. By April, Kate's chemotherapy sessions were in full effect. While the palace remained private about the specifics of her treatment, experts speculated that she was undergoing adjuvant chemotherapy, a preventive approach designed to eliminate any remaining cancer cells following surgery. Such treatment is often rigorous, with alternating cycles that bring fluctuating energy levels. During this time, Kate remained out of sight. She spent most of her days at Adelaide Cottage in Windsor, where she had the privacy to focus on her recovery. The contrast was stark. The once highly visible princess, known for her public engagements and active presence, had become absent from the public eye. It was a necessary retreat, yet one that only fueled speculation. Despite her limited appearances, the world did not forget about her. Social media continued to be flooded with messages of encouragement. Things like "We love you, Catherine," and "Get well soon, Kate," trended on multiple platforms. Meanwhile, news outlets closely monitored any updates from the palace, often relying on insider reports rather than official statements. In late April, a brief but reassuring update came from Prince William during a visit to a hospital in the United Kingdom. When asked about Kate's condition, he responded with a simple but meaningful, "She's doing well, thank you." The statement, though short, provided a moment of relief for those who had been anxiously awaiting news. May brought slow but steady progress. While Kate was still undergoing treatment, sources close to the family indicated that she was responding well and that doctors were pleased with her progress. However, the effects of chemotherapy meant that she had to be extremely cautious with her energy levels. The balance between treatment and recovery was delicate. On some days, she felt strong enough to take brief walks with William and their children. On others, she needed complete rest. By mid-May, a major decision was made within the royal household. It was determined that Kate would remain absent from public engagements until she was fully ready. This announcement, though expected, was a reminder that her recovery was not something that could be rushed. The palace emphasized that she would only return when her doctors deemed it appropriate, reinforcing the message that health took precedence over duty. Throughout these months, Kate found strength in the unwavering support of her family. Queen Camilla, despite her own health struggles, was said to have checked in on her regularly. King Charles, facing his own battle with cancer, also reportedly shared words of encouragement. But it was William and their 3 children who became her greatest source of comfort. In early June, a quiet but significant milestone was reached. Reports emerged that Kate had completed a particularly challenging phase of her chemotherapy. Though there was still a road ahead, this marked a turning point. She was beginning to regain her strength. This slow return to normalcy became even more apparent when the palace made an unexpected announcement. Kate, it was revealed, would make her first public appearance at Trooping the Color. The event, a grand celebration of the monarch's official birthday, was one of the most significant in the royal calendar. Her presence was not just symbolic, it was a sign that she was reclaiming a part of her life that had been put on hold. On June 15th, the long-awaited day arrived. The streets of London were lined with thousands of spectators, eager to witness the spectacle. When Kate finally appeared on the Buckingham Palace balcony, standing beside William, King Charles, and Queen Camilla, the crowd erupted into applause. It was a moment that transcended mere royal duty. It was a message of resilience, a statement that despite everything, she was still standing. Kate's appearance at the event was brief, but the impact was immeasurable. The princess, dressed in an elegant ensemble, waved to the crowd with her characteristic poise. Yet to those who had followed her journey, there was something deeper in her expression: gratitude, determination, and perhaps a sense of relief that she had reached this point. The reaction was immediate. The media hailed her return as a triumph of spirit. Supporters across the world expressed their admiration. Medical professionals praised her strength, acknowledging that for a patient undergoing chemotherapy, even a short public appearance required immense effort. But the day was not just about celebration. It was also a reminder that her journey was not yet over. While she had reached a milestone, the months ahead would still require careful management of her health. The palace remained cautious, emphasizing that Kate's return to full-time duties would be gradual. The days following Trooping the Color saw an outpouring of reflections. Some noted how much had changed since the last time she had been at the event. Just a year earlier, she had been in perfect health, fulfilling her royal obligations without pause. Now she was stepping back into public life as a survivor of an experience that had altered her profoundly. There was no doubt that Kate Middleton was moving forward, but questions remained. Would she take on fewer responsibilities in the future? Would her experience reshape how the royal family approached health and duty? Kate Middleton's return to the public eye at Trooping the Color had been a moment of triumph, but behind the scenes, her journey was far from over. The public had seen her smile, wave, and stand beside her family, but those close to her knew that her recovery was still in progress. The weeks following her reappearance were carefully managed, balancing her health with her increasing royal responsibilities. After the Trooping the Color event in June, Kate remained largely out of the spotlight. Her doctors had made it clear, while she had reached an important milestone, she was still undergoing treatment. Chemotherapy does not end with a single announcement, nor does recovery happen overnight. The effects of her treatment were still unpredictable. Some days she felt strong enough to engage in light activities, while on others, she needed complete rest. The palace had emphasized that she would only resume work at a pace that suited her health, but even then, expectations weighed heavily on her. Throughout July, Kate's appearances remained private. She attended family gatherings and spent time with her children, gradually regaining her strength. Though the public longed for more updates, Kensington Palace was firm in its stance. Her health remained the priority. The world had seen how difficult chemotherapy could be, and Kate's team was determined to ensure that her return would be sustainable, not rushed. By early August, whispers of another public appearance began to surface. Reports suggested that she was considering a visit to the Royal Marsden Hospital, one of the United Kingdom's leading cancer research and treatment centers. The visit, if confirmed, would be deeply significant, not only because of her personal health battle, but because of her long-standing commitment to cancer awareness. The Royal Marsden Hospital had always been a place close to Kate's heart. She had visited the hospital multiple times in the past, meeting with patients, doctors, and researchers dedicated to fighting cancer. Now, for the first time, she would be returning as not just a royal patron, but as someone who had experienced the battle firsthand. By mid-August, the palace made it official. Kate would visit the Royal Marsden in September. The announcement was met with both excitement and admiration. This was no ordinary engagement. It was a full-circle moment, a sign that her recovery was progressing well enough for her to step back into her work. As the visit approached, anticipation grew. The public, still deeply invested in her health, saw this as another step forward. While Kate had always been composed during her previous visits to hospitals, this time was different. Now, she was not just a royal figure observing from the outside. She understood in a way she never had before what it meant to receive a cancer diagnosis, to undergo treatment, and to face uncertainty. When she arrived at the Royal Marsden on a crisp September morning, the moment was as powerful as expected. Dressed in a modest yet elegant outfit, she stepped out of the car with a quiet confidence that spoke volumes. Her presence was met with warm applause both from the hospital staff and from onlookers who had gathered to see her. Inside, she was welcomed by doctors, nurses, and patients who had been following her journey. Unlike her previous visits, where she had listened to others' stories as an outsider, this time there was an unspoken understanding between her and those she met. She knew their struggles, their fears, and their hopes in a way she never had before. During her tour of the facility, she engaged in heartfelt conversations with patients undergoing treatment. Many of them shared their own experiences with chemotherapy, and in return, she offered words of encouragement drawn from her own journey. Though she had always been empathetic, there was a new depth to her interactions. She also took time to speak with researchers working on advancements in cancer treatment, showing particular interest in new methods of early detection and personalized treatment plans. Having faced the reality of a late-discovered diagnosis herself, she understood the importance of such advancements on a personal level. The visit ended with a brief speech, where she thanked the hospital staff for their unwavering dedication and expressed her deep gratitude for the support she had received. Though the speech was short, it was filled with sincerity. The moment marked a turning point, not just in her recovery, but in the role she was beginning to shape for herself moving forward. As she departed from the Royal Marsden, there was no doubt that this was more than just another royal engagement. It was a message to the world. Kate Middleton was not only healing, but she was using her experience to advocate for a cause that had become deeply personal. In the days that followed, her visit was widely praised. The media highlighted her grace and strength, while the public expressed admiration for her willingness to step forward and address an issue that had affected so many lives. The visit reaffirmed what many had already known. Kate was not just returning to her role, she was redefining it. Yet despite the success of the visit, there were still unanswered questions. How much would her experience shape her future responsibilities? Would she shift her focus more toward healthcare initiatives? And most importantly, how much longer would she need before fully resuming her duties? Kensington Palace remained cautious in its responses, making it clear that Kate's recovery would not be rushed. While she was making incredible progress, she was still under medical supervision, and her doctors were closely monitoring her health. There was no set timeline for a full return, and that in itself was a statement. The royal family was prioritizing health over duty, a rare but necessary shift. Kate Middleton's visit to the Royal Marsden Hospital in September had been a defining moment in her recovery, but it was only the beginning of her gradual return to public life. The princess, who had spent months prioritizing her health and adjusting to the demands of treatment, was now navigating a delicate balance. She was healing, but the world's expectations were still there, waiting for answers about her future role. As October began, signs of her reintegration into royal duties became more evident. Although she was not yet at full capacity, she had begun engaging in behind-the-scenes work, reviewing reports on her early childhood initiatives, and staying informed about key projects. Her dedication had never wavered, even in the most difficult moments of her illness. The question now was not whether she would return, but how her return would look. For the past year, the royal family has undergone immense change. With both King Charles and Kate Middleton facing cancer treatment, the weight of responsibilities had fallen on fewer shoulders. Prince William, now taking on more royal engagements, was slowly stepping into the future role he had always been destined for. But for Kate, the journey back was more complex. Unlike her husband, who had maintained a steady presence, she had to be more selective about which engagements she could handle. Her first step back came in the form of private meetings at Kensington Palace, where she began attending briefings on upcoming projects. Then, in mid-October, she was spotted at a charity event, one that was not publicized in advance, allowing her to participate without overwhelming attention. Those who saw her that evening described her as graceful yet cautious, as if she were testing the waters of public life once again. But it wasn't until November that the biggest moment of her return came. The Festival of Remembrance, one of the most significant events in the royal calendar, was set to take place at the Royal Albert Hall. This event, honoring the armed forces and those who had given their lives in service, was one that Kate had attended for years. In the lead-up to the event, speculation mounted. Would she be there? Would she make her first high-profile public appearance since her diagnosis? Then, just days before the festival, Kensington Palace confirmed it. Kate would be attending alongside Prince William and the rest of the royal family. The announcement was met with a mixture of excitement and relief. While she had appeared at Trooping the Colour and the Royal Marsden, this would be her first major public engagement in a formal setting. On the evening of November 9th, the eyes of the world turned to the Royal Albert Hall. As the royal family arrived, there was a noticeable shift in the atmosphere when Kate stepped out of the car. Dressed in an elegant black ensemble, she moved with her usual grace. Yet there was something different about her presence. Her face carried a quiet strength, a resilience that had been hard-earned over the past year. As she took her seat beside William, the audience welcomed her with warm applause, a silent acknowledgement of everything she had endured. The event proceeded with its solemn tributes and heartfelt performances, but many couldn't help but watch her, noting every expression, every moment she shared with those around her. The following morning, she was once again present for the Remembrance Sunday service at the Cenotaph, an event she had rarely missed in her years as a working royal. Standing alongside Queen Camilla, she observed the ceremony with deep solemnity. It was a reminder that her role in the monarchy was not just about public appearances, but about honoring tradition, history, and service. These back-to-back engagements marked a significant milestone in her return. They signaled that Kate Middleton was, in many ways, resuming her role, but with an adjusted approach. While the events of November had been a success, the palace made it clear this was not a full return to pre-illness duties. Her schedule would remain lighter than before, allowing for continued medical monitoring and recovery. As December approached, the royal family prepared for the holiday season, and with it, Kate's next major engagement, her annual Together at Christmas Carol service at Westminster Abbey. This event, which she had championed since 2021, had become one of the most cherished royal traditions in recent years. It was not just a celebration of the holiday spirit, but a tribute to community, resilience, and kindness. With the palace confirming her attendance, the excitement was palpable. The public had seen her in formal settings, but this event was different. It was personal. It was something she had built and nurtured. On December 6th, the grand halls of Westminster Abbey glowed with warm candlelight as guests arrived. The service, attended by members of the royal family, featured performances by choirs and readings from notable figures. When Kate entered, the warmth in the room was undeniable. Dressed in a deep red coat, she looked every bit the poised and confident princess the world had come to admire. Her speech that evening, though brief, carried immense weight. She spoke of the importance of community, of coming together in times of hardship, and of finding strength in one another. For those who had followed her journey, the words felt personal. Her return to the event was not just a public duty, it was a message that she was moving forward, embracing life with renewed purpose. The service concluded with a moving rendition of O Holy Night, and as the final notes echoed through the abbey, Kate stood with her family, a symbol of resilience and perseverance. As the year came to a close, there was no doubt Kate Middleton had faced an unimaginable challenge, but she had emerged with grace, strength, and a deeper understanding of what truly mattered. Yet, as she looked toward the future, questions remained. Would she fully return to royal life in the new year, or would this past year lead to a permanent change in how she approached her role? The end of the year had marked a moment of reflection for the royal family. Kate Middleton's return to public life had been carefully planned, ensuring that she could balance her ongoing recovery with the responsibilities of her role. Her presence at the Remembrance Sunday service and the Together at Christmas Carol service had reassured the public that she was regaining her strength. But while these appearances had been significant, there was still one lingering question. Would she return to full-time royal duties in the new year? As the new year arrived, Kate Middleton's journey continued to be a focal point for the public. Her reappearance at major royal events in November and December 2024 had reassured many, yet questions remained. Would she resume her full schedule? Or would this past year bring a permanent change to her royal responsibilities? In January 2025, the royal family maintained a cautious approach regarding her engagements. While she had successfully completed chemotherapy and appeared stronger, her doctors remained vigilant. Unlike previous years, where January typically marked a return to public life after the holidays, this time was different. Kate was prioritizing her health, engaging in private briefings, but avoiding public appearances. Prince William continued to balance his responsibilities, stepping in for his wife when necessary while also supporting King Charles, who was still undergoing treatment. The palace remained firm in its messaging. Kate would return at her own pace, ensuring her health remained the priority. Reports suggested that she was still managing the lingering effects of treatment, including fatigue, which made a full return to royal duties unlikely in the immediate future. By the end of January, sources close to the royal household indicated that Kate was beginning to review plans for future engagements, though no major announcements had been made. It was expected that her next public appearance would be carefully chosen, reflecting both her personal recovery and her long-standing commitment to key causes. The conversation surrounding Kate's role within the monarchy had now shifted. No longer was it a matter of simply returning to work. It was about redefining how she would approach her duties moving forward. Her time away had demonstrated that royal life could adapt to personal challenges, marking a potential shift in how the monarchy operated. For now, there was no rush, no pressure, only patience and careful consideration. The Princess of Wales remained focused on what mattered most: her health, her family, and the impact she could make when the time was right. The public, having followed her journey with unwavering support, understood that her return would come not as a duty, but as a choice, one made with strength and resilience. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.